Alright, let me know if all of you can hear me right now. It's time to go. Yes, it's time to go. I see you guys. Well, this isn't going to be a pog today, so I hate to disappoint you right quick. So, spoiler alert for all you pog lovers out there. Tonight's story, it's going to be a quick one. It's going to be a heartwarming one, but it won't be a pog one. So, and let me see if I can just lower this mic. I'm going to test this right quick. Bear with me, right? Because I noticed for my videos, I know it's been a bit high. I know the auxiliary has been a bit high. So let me test if I lower this down, if all of you can still hear me. Alright, cool. Well, with that being said, welcome to News at Night. You know what time it is, and here is the main presentation, which we'll analyze. But before we begin, just to say right quick, I know a lot of people here will say that all interracial relationships between certain men and certain women don't last. Is that true? Well, for starters, there's actually a website out there, and I won't go through the website tonight for the interest of time, but there is a website out there that states that while black men and white women go through the force at higher than normal rates, black men and this certain pair of women actually have lower than average rates of the force. And what is this pair exactly? Well, it's black men and Asian women. And a lot of people don't talk about this because it's not a very common pair. Some reasons are incidental, and some reasons are quite nefariously intentional, which if you are someone who's been on my channel for some time, you'll realize how nefarious certain parts of society can be when it comes to separating certain groups of people from being together. However, this group of individuals, or this couple I should say, has lasted throughout all of that time, throughout all those years where society could have easily driven them apart. But instead, they made it to 63 years. 63 years of being an interracial couple. Now, I don't know if it's 63 years of marriage, or just 63 years of being together, but nonetheless, 63 years of just knowing and being intimately involved with each other is one heck of a feat, even for a same race couple. But nonetheless, here's the story. Let me stop talking. Let me all listen.
Wondering what to get your Valentine this year. Just imagine trying to surprise your love of 63 years.
That's a remarkable milestone for any couple, but the Roches of Odenton, Maryland, started bucking the odds right from the start. They're an interracial couple.
Yes, he's African American, she's Japanese. Here's Fox 5's Bob Barnard.
She's real beautiful.
Yes, through 63 years of marriage, Ronald Roche is still mesmerized by the beauty that's been beside him all these years, his loving wife, Yoshiko.
She's an amazing woman.
Now suffering from dementia, they met while he was in the U.S. Air Force and stationed in Japan.
Her hair. She had extremely long hair. And she had, and she was so nicely dressed and nice hair, and that's what I kind of noticed about her.
They were married on May 29, 1957 at the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo. Ronald and Yoshiko would move to the United States soon after, learning right then and there from her father that a marriage cannot survive on love alone. It takes sacrifice.
Which the father did tell us that you don't know where you're going, you don't know what's going to happen. So you'll be giving up everything, your friends and your family and this. And so you don't know what's before you, see? She gave up her family. She gave up her religion. She was Buddhist. She gave up her religion. She became Catholic. And she gave up her country.
They would settle in D.C., raise 2 sons. She worked at the Library of Congress for 2 decades. He was a letter carrier for the Postal Service.
However, Maryland and Virginia, even though they had their things about marriage, we didn't run into much trouble. Remember, I did not hesitate going to Maryland, Virginia. We would go there and shop sometimes, go there, but people would look, but nobody never done anything. We never had any nasty words from them.
As an interracial couple living in Washington long before the U.S. Supreme Court made those unions legal, Ronald says it was sometimes a challenge, the discrimination all too real, especially outside of the DMV.
And people sometimes, when we were shopping, she put something up on a belt, and I'm behind her. I put some other. I said, hold up, that's that lady stuff. But it was nothing nasty.
Turning back to what warms his heart, Ronald says his 3 secrets to a successful marriage are: compromise is everything, always be there for each other, and tackle everything as partners. Happy Valentine's Day, Ronald and Yoshiko. Bob Barnard, Fox 5 Local News.
May their love live on. And those 3 things, yes, compromise is everything. When you find a partner where you find yourself compromising without even thinking about it, that's how I think you know you have the right fit. And what a beautiful love story. And,
I heard good love advice a long time ago, and they said it was a couple who had been together a very long time, and they said, what's the secret to success? And they said, if you each spend every day trying to make the other person happy and make the other person's day better, if you're each doing that,
yeah.
You can't lose.
And I'll add, my father, you know, similar story as them. They met in Korea, and she's Korean, and my father was in the Army. He said, you just never go to bed angry. No matter what, just don't go to bed angry at each other. And so.
Well, that could make for some very long nights sometimes.
Right?
From 63 years in the making.
All right, so shout out to this couple.
Thousands of National Guardsmen have been.
Nope. All right. There we go. So shout out to this couple. Let's go back to the last story. Let's just reload that. All right, so shout out to this interracial couple who was together, or who is together, and has been together for over 63 years. Now, this is impressive, as I said, even for an intraracial couple, same gender, same race couple, to be there for a long time. I'm seeing all the interesting comments here. Shout out to all of you who joined, 26 people in the chat. I really appreciate all 26 of you who have taken the time to join here. And let's see if the super chat works. Let me go ahead and see if that works. Come on. Mikish with the $4.99 super chat. Great story here at Clutch. So shout out to Mikish with the $4.99 super chat. And I just want to see if it works. Please, the alert. Come on, where's the alert box when you need it? Where's the alert? Anyway, it'll show up. It should show up. I thought it would show up. There we go. Oh, wow, this is late. Mikish donating the $4.99 through Super Chat. Great story here, Clutch. Great story indeed. So, shout out to him. But let's analyze this story on several fronts. So let's go ahead and play that again.
I'm to surprise your love of 63
All right, cool. So,
years.
so with that being said, let's go ahead and pause that right quick. And then there are certain things that I noticed. First of all, hey, Solo TV 84. Shout out to Solo TV 84, always showing love and support. If all of you didn't catch our live stream we did last time, it was actually me helping. Well, not even helping him because he didn't need help, but you know, it was a little squabble that he had with certain individuals, which, from my understanding, has since been resolved. So, just to let all of you probably know by now, him and MGTOW Dictionary are now officially at a truce. So, him and MGTOW Dictionary, who is sort of the somewhat leader of the Black Pill space, they are at a truce right now. So, as an ally to Sorrel, I will respect that, and I appreciate MGTOW Dictionary cooperating with said truce. But now let's get back to the story. So, as far as this interracial couple is concerned, they first met in World War II in the 1940s when he was stationed in Japan. So, this is exactly why I say, for all you brothers out there, that you all need to get outside of the United States. You all need to get out here and explore your world, explore your horizons, and see where you can fit. Love or just romance or anything that you're looking for isn't limited to your country, to your state, especially to your community. especially the community. You don't have to limit yourself like that. But as far as that's concerned, this guy, as I said, World War II, Air Force dude, serving his country, and he ended up falling in love with this chick. I mean, this chick was, I mean, this looks like a Hinata. Now, if Kirigake Jones was listening, do not tell me that this chick does not look like a Hinata of the 1940s. But let's go on ahead and see these pictures of, if we can catch what really happened.
I reckon she's Japanese.
So, all right, so we see here, oh, check this out. So we see here some pictures here of, I'm not sure if it's their renewal of vows, just some formal pic where one of the sons are getting married, but they did mention that they had two sons who we can see here, or right here and right here. We can possibly get a better shot of that. There we go.
Bob Barnard.
There we go. There we go. All right, so we can see right here of the interracial couple right here, and I'm not sure who these individuals are, but I want to say, all right, we just want to assume. But let's go ahead and go through his.
Now suffering from dementia, they met while he.
All right, so an important thing was said here. The fellow who you see here, who looked like to be a Chad or a mini Chad, Chad Light, Diet Chad here. Now, age hits all of us, so I mean, what you're gonna do about it? But the dude is currently suffering, unfortunately, from dementia. Now, as I said, age hits all of us. We hope that he deals with it the best way he can. But at the very least, it looks like he won't be alone while he battles dementia, because of what you see here, this 63 years of marriage and unity he has with his Boba Bunny. I'm just going to say that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but his Boba Bunny is sitting right there, looking like she's not going anywhere, looking like she's not trying to plot something to secure the bag or try to get the insurance money. Not to say that people within the same race do it or the community does it, but look, yeah, I mean, dealing with dementia is heavy. It takes a hell of a toll on anyone, not even the spouse, but the kids. So, and from my understanding, from what it sounds like, it seems like his sons will be helping him as well. But let's go ahead and analyze this a bit more.
He was in the U.S. Air Force.
And she was so nicely dressed and nice hair, and that's what I kind of noticed about her.
They were married on May 29, 1957 at the U.S. Embassy in Tokyo.
All right, so May 29, 1957. So this was before interracial marriage was legal in most of the United States. I mean, it's sort of sad to say that they had to do it at an embassy, get the marriage done at an embassy instead of the U.S. But considering where they were in the D.C. area, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, obviously at the time, did not recognize interracial marriage, and it wasn't for another decade or so. But nonetheless, he mentioned his experiences. He said that, yeah, it wasn't bad, but he would face some difficulty of being in an interracial marriage. So it wasn't like it was peaches and rainbows, unlike some other pairs. I mean, let's be honest. If this brother was another brother from another mother, would he have faced as much animosity? I think not. I'm just saying.
Ronald and Yoshiko would move to the United States soon after, learning right then and there from her father that a marriage cannot survive on love alone. It takes sacrifice.
Which the father did.
Which, as I said, his father mentioned that, hey, look, marriages cannot survive on love alone. It takes sacrifice. And we heard earlier how and what each person did in order to sacrifice and compromise. I mean, I'm not much of a compromiser, but let's be honest. Yeah, that's what a marriage takes, regardless if it's an interracial or intraracial marriage.
They tell us that you don't know where you're going, you don't know what's going to happen. So you'll be giving up everything, your friends and your family and this. And so you don't know what's before you, see? She gave up her family. She gave up her religion. She was Buddhist. She gave up her religion. She became Catholic. And she gave up her country.
They would settle.
And that's a heavy price to pay, even in today's age, but especially back then when society and community meant almost everything, and in certain cases could have meant the difference between life and death. What happened if this couple didn't work out? Where would she have been now? She gave up her country, she gave up her religion, she gave up her family, her former family, the family she was born with, to be with this man. I'm not sure if it was because of the animosity or just because of the distance between Japan and the United States. So, with that being said, interracial marriages are no joke. This is some of the lesser told sides about interracial dating, even with non-black interracial couples. A lot of people give up a lot of stuff to be together. Now, it may not be as sacrificial if it was, say, a white male and an Asian woman. The sacrifices wouldn't have been as high, but they would have been high nonetheless. And some people, they just can't cope to rely on just their spouse or significant other in order to just function, survive, and just live. So this is something I'm going to say next that sounds somewhat controversial and contradictory, and that interracial marriage is not for everyone. Interracial marriage is not for everyone. Specifically, it's not for individuals who aren't willing to give up their social circle, their country, their language, and in some cases, especially back in the old days, their religion. A lot of people just have it in them. They don't have it in them to really separate themselves from their culture. And for that reason alone, if you can't do that, if you feel for some reason you have to be tied to your culture, or you feel as if your culture identifies you or makes you more than you make the culture, then in many cases, interracial marriage may not be a thing for you. And Solo Team 84 with the $10 super chat. Hit the Snapchat. I didn't do Snapchat accepted cash sprinkle. 2 for 3 this weekend, 2021. More snow bunnies on the 2 for 3. Oh man, I need to hear this 2 for 3 story. Shout out Solo TV 84 with the $10 super chat. All right, but let's continue. Let's go ahead and analyze and wrap this up.
In DC,
Go there and shop sometimes, go there, but people would look, but nobody had never done anything. We never had any nasty words from them.
as an interracial
So with this being said, you hear the story. They got looks, they got stares, yeah, but nobody really came up to him. I mean, partially because, you saw the pictures of him in the military suit, looking like he's about to go on Call of Duty World at War. Would you come up to that dude even if you were a racist, or even if you were a pro-whack, or even if you were a descendant of Daggles, one of these grandmamas who gave birth to these Daggles and Maggles? Would you have gone up to him and say, I don't like your girl too free? I'm not going to go there. But look, the story of interracial marriage, interracial couples getting chased here and there and everywhere, I'm not going to say it didn't exist, but a lot of what was said in the past about how people were chased out and burned out their houses and fireball and all this other kind of stuff because they were in an interracial marriage, that was not the case for everyone. Yes, people looked. Yes, people stared. Yes, people were like, what the heck? Yes, certain other individuals were like, yeah, that should have been my wife instead of his. And yes, certain other individuals were like, oh, I wish I was brave enough to be by the beat, whatever, I'm not going to go there, be with a black man in the 1950s and 60s. Yeah, nonetheless. Yeah, you get my point.
couple living in Washington long before the U.S. Supreme Court made those unions legal.
All right, so you see here.
Is every Ronald says his three.
All right, so here's their secrets to a successful marriage. Compromise is everything. Always be there for each other. And tackle everything as partners. So those are 3 things that everyone can use in a marriage, regardless if it's interracial or intraracial. So I mean, those are just simple things that we can all learn from individuals who are just older than us. And by that, I mean two elders, not olders, but elders who actually could teach us a thing or two. And so Nate and Soul TV 84 with another $5 super chat. Roast Tap. Roast Tap! I mean, Steve. Oh man, you're throwing names out there tonight, dude. You want me to roast the goat, and then you want me to roast the lean, the cock, and then you want me to roast the alt-right. We'll get to the roasting. We will get to the roasting. I mean, look. Let's get through this video first.
3 secrets to a successful marriage are: compromise is everything. Always be there for each other and tackle everything as partners. Happy Valentine's Day, Ronald and Yoshiko. Bob Barnard, Fox 5 Local News.
All right, so
May their love.
all right, so as you can see here, here's the interracial couple, and yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to their 63rd wedding anniversary, or 63rd Valentine's Day at the very least. Shout out to their children. They're biracial. They're oh man, I can't even do it. They're light-skinned supremacist children. Light-skinned supremacist in the house. Yeah, you know we're gonna bring the white power, people. White power, people. White power. White power is there even in, I don't know how old their kids are, but yeah, you get the point. Look, shout out to all of you who drove by. Shout out to all of you who came and went. I see 16 people here, and we're about to hit the 30-minute mark. So with that being said, let me go through the comments and see if there are anything, or there's anything to note. I mean, we all love our minglings. I can't lie, I like Southeast Asian. I like Asian women. I get along with Southeast Asian the best. I know Toby Johnson was tripping tonight, dude. Shout out to him. He's just jokes. Yeah, Durgert Marshall did have a Filipina as well, so she loved that World War II BBC. Oh my goodness, what am I gonna do, you guys? All right. Oh yeah, stay away from the Gorilla Glue girls. Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, if you want that algorithm, if you want that energy, going ahead and focus that somewhere else. Let me see what else. Let me see. Just going to the comments right quick before we head on out. Oh, your dad was in his teens when they got married. Okay, that was interesting. And yeah, exactly. Okay, good stuff. So shout out to Jaw, shout out to Toby, shout out to Mick Kish with the $5 super chat, shout out to Soul TV 84, my YouTube bro with the $15 super chat. And other than that, 21 people in. So why am I getting a bump of 21 people in here? It was like 16, but now it's 21. But in any case, this is just a small story to go along with Valentine's Day, because I know a lot of people are trying to trash on Valentine's Day and say, oh, it's for simps, it's for suckers, it's for beta males. Would you consider this guy a beta male? Would you consider this guy a simp? Would you consider this guy a cuck? Yes, we got other YouTubers, we got dating coaches who, yeah, they themselves, I mean, I'll be honest, yeah, they're more or less cuck. They're in the cuck zone. They're in the cuck. Forget Crossfire. Cockfire! You got caught up in the cockfire! Cockfire! Where did this come from? Super Chunks with the $10 super chat. Blasian couples are the power couple. Oh! There we go. There we go. See, I know where my audience is. I know what you all want. This is what you all want. To report stories like this. And for me to talk about it and to roast those who are against it. There's the formula, right? That's my formula right there. So anyone else tries to do that, you're going to have to answer to me first. But shout out to Sigma Jones with the $10 super chat. But yeah, Blasian couples are the power couple. Mainly because, in my theory, I got to agree. I have to agree. Because if you're going by positive stereotypes, Blasian couples have the black masculinity, black male masculinity, and the Asian female femininity. Which, I mean, if we're going by stereotypes, I'm not saying that this is true for all black men, Asian women, or whoever. But if you want a combination, a perfect combination of masculinity and femininity. There you go. And the children that come out of these marriages, hopefully marriages in matrimony, legitimate marriages where the couple is together and they're married and they're happy together and they sleep in bed most nights of the week or whatever. Yeah, what can be? What can be? Hell, any IR couple who can stay together, their kids usually dominate. I mean, let's look at the likes of freaking Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, Patrick Mahomes. The list goes on. I mean, I know a lot of people want to say, was it Mariah Carey? But I'm not sure if she came from, her parents stayed together. I'm not sure. You can let me know about that. But yeah, I mean, if we're going by the theory, then look, how can this be beat, huh? Besides the societal pressures that the United States puts on us. But yeah, let's see. All right, yeah, let's see. The super chat comes up right quick. I want people to see it at the same time that I do. Okay, anyway, it'll come up. Don't worry. But yeah, as far as IR couples, I mean, I'm seeing where all of you are saying we love interracial stories. Hey, every day. You know what? If I can find interracial breakdown stories, I will do it. I just need to find more. My problem is that a lot of interracial stories feature interracial couples that are not black men and not black women, if you catch my drift. A lot of the stories I see are stories of other interracial couples or interracial couples that have nothing to do with black men and non-black women. And Jaws 2003 with the $2 super chat. Brothers clean up in Asia where they go. Brothers clean up in Asia where they go. And you know what? See, and that's the other thing. A lot of people will say that in the United States of America specifically, that black men don't do well with Asian women. I'm not going to argue with you there. The problem is that it's the United States of America. And the United States of America is where black male hatred is the highest. Granted, a lot of the Muggles, a lot of the Bebe's kids, they do not help our cause. So we cannot completely blame this on the Musungu or whatever you want to call him or it or whatever. Look, a lot of this is done through just whether it's the inaction of or the outright dysfunction of the Bebe Kid. And we will have a video soon where we will analyze the Bebe Kid master plan of keeping us in the barrow known as the Matrix. And trust me, my channels like this are to help guys understand that there is a world outside the Matrix. Or hell, even in this case, you can live within the Matrix and thrive. You can survive within the Matrix, as this couple has done for 63 years. It doesn't take all this. First of all, you don't have to fight through hatred and discrimination every single day. I mean, that's definitely not the case. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be the easiest, but it's not going to be as hard as a lot of people paint it to be. Particularly with the pro-vax who say that, oh, you're going to face struggles and people are going to hate you and they're going to throw rocks at you and they're going to try to fire a torch in your house and burn your house with crosses and all this other kind of stuff, as if interracial couples face the bullcrap every day. And the other thing that a lot of pro-vax tell you, okay, all right.
Hold up,
before we get down to this, before we get done with this, I know I'm going in extra innings mainly because you all have been showing me the love. Solo TV loves to rate women, right? He loves to tell me, yo, Xanatos, what do you rate this girl? Oh, what do you rate this girl? Is she a 5? Is she a 6? Is she a 7? And I tell him, she's a 6.5, dude. I mean, her ass is too fat. She has that Instagram thought look. And then Solo's like, man, what are you talking about? That girl's an 8. She's 8.5 at least, girl, man. So, man, Clutch, man. Clutch is cap, man. So, yeah, we do that back and forth. But I want you guys to tell me how the rating that you would give this woman
lady stuff
right over here. Or maybe I should
Ronald and Yoshiko would move to the United States soon after.
Let's get a better picture.
Roe Shays of Odenton, Maryland started bucking of Odenton, Maryland, Odenton, Maryland started bucking the odds right from the start. Roe Shays of Odenton.
3 years.
That's a remarkable milestone for any couple, but the...
All right, so what would you give this chick right here if you were to give her a rating? Real talk. Real talk. I want to see the ratings. 1 to 10. Do not troll me, or I might have to time you out. But the chick right here, not this chick, but I'm talking about the chick right here. What would you give her? Real talk. Like, and we're talking 1940s. I'm not talking. So she's being dressed all conservatively. That's because it's the 1940s, 1950s, people. So chill out. So what would you give her? I'm waiting for the ratings. Let me wait for the ratings right here. Because I know a lot of you are going to be saying, like, oh, she looks like a 5 because she's all dressed up with glasses and she's all conservative and she's all... No. Don't play with that. Don't play with that, man. Okay, 7.5. I see 7.5. I see 7 back then. See, yeah, exactly. We're talking about back then, dude. Yeah, so... Going ahead and see those ratings, and then we'll conclude this. All right, so 7.5. See another 7. Okay, you said 7.5 3 times, man. Let's go 7.5 since you see him and Jaws are the only ones who are rating. But 7.5. All right, so a lot of people will try to say, man, black men only got with the trash of the race. He only got with. They can only get with the other races rejects and they're trash. And no, those are for the maggles. Those are for the babies kids. Those are the ones that you see lurking and watching all these videos of these daggles getting roasted, mainly because they couldn't do it themselves and they're too afraid to confront the daggle or to leave the daggle. So, I mean, with that being said, I mean, yeah, if you're talking about the babies kids, yeah, absolutely, I'll give you that, but. Not in this house. In this house, with our subs, we can get quality women. And this, if anything else, if nothing else, proves just that. So, with that being stated, let me see. Anyone else has any other thing to say before we wrap it up here for tonight? All right, I do not. Yeah, there is a heavy stigmatization when it comes to Asian women getting involved in dating dark-skinned men. You could be African or Indian. Well, you know what? I don't doubt you when it comes to the stigmatization of Asian women with Indian men. But to be honest, where I am, I see that a lot more than Asian women with black men. And I saw that probably just as much when I was in the East Coast, which those numbers were both pretty small, pathetically small. But hey, this is our channel to help us fight against the stigmatization and to increase those numbers, to give brothers options so that he can feel comfortable in his skin with using copulas and conjugated verbs and using pronouns properly. Know the difference between there, and they. Not saying they when you mean to say there, and yeah, exactly. Because I think a lot of this pressure is mainly, as MOT says, it's to impress the daggle. It's to impress the daggle. It's to be a Renaissance fair gangster so that you can impress a bunch of unworthy women who aren't even average at best. So, with that. Okay, 6.3. All right, man. All right, I think this thing's about to jump the shark. But in any case, I want to thank you all for joining me. I want to thank you all for hanging around with this news at night. For the rest of you out there who are watching the playback, I want to thank you for supporting this channel. It really means a lot. Hopefully, this Streamlabs is a bit more professional. As I said, with your money, I will use it to spruce it up. So feel free to give me any suggestions. I hope the updated status was an improvement. And yeah. Everyone else out there. What about, okay, so Burma? let's be quiet about Burma. I'm not trying to have any baby's kids go over to Burma before I go. So let's